Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam. You all know my co-host, Jordan Big Daddy Lyons.
Big Daddy. Before we get into Big Daddy, I just wanted to wish you a happy 2-year podcast anniversary.
Is that today?
Well, I mean, it
More or
happened.
less.
It happened at the end of May, but we haven't recorded in a while. So,
What is 2 years? Like tin can anniversary?
oh, that's a good question. I feel like I should know, but
Well, as you look that up, Jordan, a little behind the scenes, we haven't spoken in several weeks, and that's because some pretty big things have been happening in both of our lives.
we mentioned your job, right? I think we did.
No, I'm talking about something entirely different. So, Jordan, I've decided I'm going to grow out my hair. Yeah, and you have had a child? Is that correct?
And those
Okay.
are kind of like on the same plane.
Flip side of the same coin, I figured. That's why I wanted to bring them up at the same time. So, yeah, I'm going to grow my hair out longer. I just kind of want to see what it's going to look like. And I'm excited at the possibilities with hair gel, styling, blow dryer. It's just going to really bring a new kind of layer and look to my life. Did you want to talk about your thing at all? Or no?
I mean, yours is definitely more important, but does that mean we'll be getting more like behind the scenes posts or
A lot of selfies on the Twitter. Yeah.
selfies, and then
selfies,
you used to do like the Periscope videos and stuff. So
Yeah, but I'm not going to do them without home improvement. It's just going to be like silence.
just like looking at your new hairstyle for the day.
Yeah,
Seems like a
right.
good idea. A healthy baby girl, and she's a blessing, and I'm a new father, and it's a wonderful thing. So
That's great. A
We won't
blessing in disguise, or just a straight
yeah,
up
I mean,
blessing?
a lot of people talk about how kids are like the worst thing that ever happened to them. So
Oh man! And did you want to give her social security number out while we're on
yeah,
air?
if
Should
we
just do
could,
that?
I would
Okay.
like to give her full name, date of birth,
Okay.
social security, weight at birth, all that good stuff. Side note. In a
Yeah.
traditional sense,
Yeah.
after 2 years of marriage, people often give cotton gifts to their loved ones.
Cotton. Well, you gave me a T-shirt for Christmas, so maybe
it's
you were
kind
just
of
a little ahead of the
preemptive
curve.
strike.
You were ahead of the curve, and I'm having some trouble with the curve continually. Much like Clint Eastwood and others in that movie. Jordan, we really haven't recorded, or the last time
Does
we
it
spoke
show?
was when we recorded, and that was 3 or 4 weeks ago. And as a result, I have a lot to say.
Yeah, you
At
kept
the top
wanting
of
to
the
tell
show.
me things, but I said just save it, and
I have
I
a
hope you wrote
lot
them down.
to say. Yeah, not in as much detail as I should have, but all right, I'll start with, and we have not talked about this before, so
No.
this, much like Eddie Murphy's stand-up special, you're coming at this sort of raw.
Raw.
Yeah, raw, but without the racism and homophobia.
Not
Hopefully,
quite. We'll
All
see.
right. So I tweeted, and I don't even know dates. I'm going to say just a while ago, I tweeted and I texted you that it was a Sunday evening, and all of a sudden, my girlfriend Kirsten, she makes the discovery that there's a bunch of celebrities in St. Charles where I live.
Celebrities,
All right.
indeed.
Yeah, so I get on the website. It's Michael Phelps, who Jordan is a swimmer.
Are you sure? Does he do that?
He swims, and he was having some golf gala, and there's like Dennis Quaid and Urban Meyer, and I'm thinking, okay,
That's
yeah.
like the normal trio,
Yeah,
right?
like the dumb boys. Yeah, I know that squad, but I keep going on. See on the list, Debbie Dunning, Richard Karn, and then I swerve my car, and I was laying on the floor, but I said, whoa, I got to figure out a way to see these people. So at about I'm going to say 8 p.m. Sunday evening, Kirsten and I get in the car and we drive to the hotel where I know these people are staying. Because there's like a big dinner
Because
this
you're
evening.
a creep.
Because I called the hotel and acted like I was one of their kids and said that there was an emergency. No, because on the schedule of events, there was like a dinner going on at this hotel down. I don't know if they were staying there. I assume they were at this exact time. So we drive down there to scope it out. And it's late and it's kind of cold, and I'm standing outside and I'm just hoping, Debbie Dunning, Richard Karn, Michael Phelps, maybe. I mean, he's like a 20-time Olympian. Doesn't really matter. I'm here to see the Karn Man.
Why didn't you just text him? We have his number.
I'm going to get to that, Jordan.
Okay.
Don't rush me.
Sorry. I'm just, again, I don't know how this is going to work out.
Yeah, you have no idea. So I stay there for a while, and, I see a couple celebs. Urban Meyer comes by in a nice seersucker suit. He won't sign any autographs for anybody, so don't bother asking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. Following him, A.J. Hawk, former Green Bay Packers linebacker, apparently now retired. Didn't know. That happened kind of quietly.
That did.
But then, about 10 minutes later, I see a guy come out. About
big guy, goes about 6'10".
About 5'8", goatee. Goes by the name of Richard Karn. Now, he walks outside. I can't get that close. I'm about 30 feet away. I get real nervous. I say, Kirsten, get out. Kirsten, get ready to take a picture. If he comes by here, I got to get a picture. So I'm kind of getting panicky. Next thing you know, he disappears. He gets on a trolley, and he's heading somewhere else. I didn't have an opportunity to confront him.
That Karn man has always been fond of trolleys. We know that.
He loves trolleys. I should have yelled his name. I blew it. And I thought that was that. Fast forward the next day. By the way, I have a new job also, so it doesn't sound like it, but I do have other things going on. So I don't know. Every once in a while, we try to slide into Richard Karn's DMs. No big deal. So I slide in there, and I say, because I had sent some kind of weird tweets in hindsight, like, "Hey, want to hang out, Richard Karn?" So I explained to him the situation and say, like, "Hey, I live in St. Charles." Remind him who I am, things like that. And he says, 5 or 6 hours later, he says something like, "Hey, I'm at Hotel Baker." Well, I was already on getting ready to board a plane to England. But, we continued. We had a little Twitter back and forth, and it ended with him saying that St. Charles is a beautiful little town, and that, maybe I'll see him next year. So, I'm going to cash that check if I can.
My goodness. What a whirlwind of a story.
What questions do you have?
I mean, you covered a lot. I'm thankful that Kirsten was there to, steady you. Seems like you were feigning at some points almost.
Man, I was nervous. Yeah. It's weird, because, Urban Meyer walked by. As far as I was concerned, it was like, get out of my way, because I'm trying to see Richard Karn.
You went through A.J. Hawk.
I tackled him. No wonder he's not in the league anymore. He went down like a sack of potatoes.
Did you see Debbie Dunning?
No.
So she was maybe not there at the time, or was coming out later.
I don't know. They were all coming out at different times, yeah. So.
Wow. Well, I mean, kind of a missed opportunity, but I can totally understand it. Just nerves, and we have only talked to him once. We don't have quite the relationship that we would hope to at this point, but we're working towards it.
We're getting there. Yeah, I almost posted a misconnections thing on Craigslist, but ultimately I was able to get through to him on Twitter, and Jordan, I planted the seed for next year, and
we're going to harvest it next year.
Yeah, hopefully the rains continue to come, and eventually that seed blooms into a beautiful rose, and that rose is a photo with Richard Karn, which is really all anybody can ask for.
A photo and a live recording.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to get him over my spot here. All right, so that's the first thing. Second thing, and I've already kind of mentioned this, but I had to go to England for work.
You say it like it was punishment, like you got in trouble and they sent you to England.
I'm not real comfortable talking about the logistics of my new job on the podcast yet, so
that's fine.
Just skip that for the time being. But 5-6 hour flight there, 5 or 6 hour flight back. But on the way back, I watched some movies, checked to see what was on the small system.
What'd you find, Adam?
A once defunct, now resurrected Tim Allen joint. Not Home Improvement, called Last Man Standing. There were 2 episodes available. How many episodes do you think I watched?
2?
Yeah, I watched 2. Because it was a 7-hour flight and I was bored.
2 for 2.
2 for 2. First time I'd ever watched the show.
Uh-huh.
Keep in mind this was weeks ago. I did write down some notes, and I'm going to read them to you now.
Now, before you get to that, we should preface this by saying we once asked... We once asked, should we do a Last Man Standing episode? To which there was,
tepid?
You think America is divided right now? They're really...
It was one of the more controversial things we've ever done.
Yeah, a straight 50-50 split of yes and no.
I can go ahead and tell you that after watching these 2 episodes, we're definitely going to do a Last Man Standing.
Yeah, and since then, I had actually watched an episode. My wife had put it on TV, and so I was watching an episode as well. So we've both got plenty of context for the whole show, right?
So I'm just going to bounce, like I said, I have a couple bullet points here, so I'm going to try to make sense of them. I wrote these down. On the plane, hadn't been sleeping much, jet lagged, tired about a month ago. So we'll see how this goes. So last man standing thoughts. Bullet point 1. Tim looks great, shirts and hair. I can follow that up by saying he wears very nice, often flannel, often kind of plaid, often gingham, very tailored shirts. He looks great. His hair looks really good.
Tim tailored shirts, you mean?
Tim tailored shirts, very stylish. I mean, I can't stress that. That was my biggest takeaway. It was just how good he looks on this show. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's different than what we, I guess, would normally. I didn't pay attention to that when the episode that I watched. I was more engrossed in the story of the daughter who was on the football team, and
I bet it was good.
It was engaging. But yeah, I mean, we see him in just his pictures, just normally on Twitter and stuff, and he looks stylish. So I guess that kind of carried over a little bit different than the Home Improvement vibe, where it's like always a school sweatshirt and stuff.
It's hard out of context. Like, maybe some of the stuff he was wearing on Home Improvement was stylish, but I just can't really tell now. All right, point 2. Very jokey, rapid fire, lots of jokes. So, like, it's basically like almost every sentence is meant to be a joke. It's just like joke, almost never ending. Which is both like it's weird. Like, I probably laughed. It's weird to say, but I probably laughed out loud 3 or 4 times in each episode. And that's not to say that I thought the show was very funny or especially good, but there's just so many like bits and jokes, and they just like never stop. That eventually
they're gonna hit on one or two.
They're gonna get you on one because they just like never. Like, there's nothing that's not setting up a joke. Yeah. Which is a little different than Home Improvement.
Definitely. Yeah, and it is. Whereas Home Improvement is like it does not really register on the political spectrum at all.
Yeah, right.
It is totally on the political spectrum all the time, basically.
For sure.
So they're completely different shows. Just
indeed.
The only same thread is really it's like Tim is there. Instead of 3 boys, it's 3 girls. But other than that, they're just completely different shows.
All right, I'm glad you brought up the girls. The episodes I saw only had the 2 older daughters. I thought they were both awful. Yeah,
I didn't pay a ton of attention. Again, I was only kind of watching in passing, actually. But yeah, I guess we'll have to pick an episode and really dive into it.
It's no fault of the actors, but they were terrible. I'm sure it's the writing. So no offense to either of you. Next one. I wrote stepsons. I don't know. Like, both the girls have boyfriends. I wrote both the boyfriends are awful too.
So a lot of the tangential characters.
Yeah, bad acting, bad line delivery, etc., etc. Hector Elizondo is good. I don't know what role he plays in the show. He seems like he works the store with Tim. He was funny. He had some good lines.
Is that the guy who's in Beverly Hills Cops 3? Yes.
He's in Princess Diaries. That's all I know him from.
He's in Beverly Hills Cops, I think 3.
Beverly Hills Cops? Are there more? Is that like Nutty Professor where there's multiple Eddie Murphys in that third one?
No, there's that really great partner guy who stays back in Detroit while he's in California, and he's trying to cover up for him.
Gotcha. So. All right. I did see apparently the only episode with Jay Leno in it, and he was not very good.
What are the chances, though?
I know, it was pretty random. There's like a Super Bowl party, and Leno comes over and hangs out, and it makes his Home Improvement performance seem relatively grounded. It was quite odd, and he has to fake cry at one point, and that didn't go especially well. So there's that. Backdrops in production. The backdrops throughout the show are really, really
fake,
unrealistic and fake, in a way that you really seldom see on network television. It looked like something out of I know I say this a lot, but community theater or high school. The mountainous backdrop just looked insanely low in terms of production. So
it's weird because you could just go to Google or something, or just
there's a lot of ways to do that. I suggest they look into those.
Maybe
ways.
Fox will figure it out then.
Hillary joke. I wrote down there was a really bad Hillary joke. I don't remember what it was specifically. And then I wrote wife is good. So I liked his wife. I should look up her name because that's not especially respectful.
We'll get to it, but
we'll get to it. But so I mean, 2 episodes. It was different than I thought. I laughed a fair amount, but like I said, it's because there's just a lot of jokes. It makes. I mean, I think Home Improvement stacks up unbelievably well against it, just in terms of like quality and not just. This is very slapstick, I would say. That's probably the best way to describe it. Mm-hmm. The wife's name is Vanessa Baxter, played by Nancy Travis. Yeah, I liked her. I thought she was good. So
just a nice little preview of what we might do for a special episode later.
Yeah, so I wanted to get those out there. I've been talking a lot about Last Man Standing. Also, I just didn't want to think that I'd watch 2 episodes for nothing. So I wanted to use my platform.
What else did you watch on that flight?
Oh man, Blind Side. Which I'd never seen.
And I think you texted some thoughts to me about that too. I forget what.
No, I tweeted.
Oh, tweeted.
I didn't text you.
You know,
you're about Blindside.
You're
a father now. You don't have time for this nonsense.
Your Twitter persona is so authentic to the way that you act towards me that I just assume they're texts.
Well, authenticity is paramount in this bankrupt world, you know. I also watched The Mask with Jim Carrey smoking, you know.
I just watched the Jim and Andy thing. I think what we talked about before.
Yeah, he's nuts, isn't he?
That's a wild documentary.
It's really good, but yeah, he's kind of nutty in that. And then I watched the movie Wonder, which actually is really good, but also quite sad. Wonder is good. Do you know about that?
I don't think you might give me a little preview.
Okay,
it might bring it back. It sounds familiar.
There's a young child played by Jacob Tremblay from not The Room. That's the time it was up from Room, and he is like born with some sort of a defect where, and you know they had to do a lot of surgeries, and as a result, his face is sort of he has a unique looking face.
Yeah.
And his
I remember this one now.
Yeah, and his parents are Owen Wilson and Julie Roberts, and you know he goes to school, and it's kind of just about his experiences at school. It's funny. It's often very sad, but it's very well made, and it kind of left an impact on me. I openly wept probably 3 or 4 times on the plane.
Wow.
But that's not unusual for me.
So, I mean, whoever was sitting next to you saw you go through a roller coaster of emotions.
The kicker. Nobody sat next to me on either flight, so I was sitting pretty.
Wow.
Yeah,
so you spread out.
I also cried during The Mask when the dog almost died. It was so scary. Milo, come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's really just a movie about just love between an animal and its owner, and then just a budding romance between Cameron Diaz and Jim Carrey, right?
Speaking of budding romances, we got one on this week's episode of Home Improvement, which is, you know, we talk about Last Man Standing, we talk about Richard Karn, we talk about, big life events, but fundamentally we are a Home Improvement podcast. And Jordan, I don't know how long we've been recording.
Let's get back to fundamentals.
Frankly, I don't care. Let's get back to fundamentals and talk about Home Improvement specifically. What episode are we covering this week?
This is episode 91. It's My Party.
It's My Party.
It's My Party. I can cry if I want to. This one is written by Thad Mumford, which sounds like a fake name they would have had on the show.
Mumford and Son?
Thad Mumford and Son. This is the one and only episode done by him. He has done... I mean, some of his other writing appearances on IMDb are MASH and Blue's Clues, which explains this episode. There's just
eclectic.
Yeah. Aired February 14th, 1995, so we've got a Valentine's episode here. Plot keywords that were listed on IMDb: sprained ankle, werewolf, and breakdancing. Those are interesting, but
where did werewolf come into play in this one? Did I zone out and miss something major?
You know, I was wondering that, and then I watched all the way in through the outtakes, and that's where it comes into play, in the outtakes.
Okay, all right. Well, you'll have to explain that to me at the end.
I really don't want to, but I will. And with that, we've got alternative titles. A very rusty effort by me, but how many do you have?
I have 5, but one of them I am no longer able to read, so it could be 4, it could be 5. It's just going to depend on how it goes when I get there.
All right. I guess I have 5 too, but...
Okay. All
right. I'll go first. Punch Foot Love.
That's good. I'll do mine. Foot and mouth.
There you go. How about ankle gain?
What's that playing on?
I know. Ankle sprain, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah, good.
Instead of losing something, she gains a boy.
All right. Lend me your ear.
No.
You know what's so funny? I don't even know what that's really playing right now.
I'm wondering.
It's been so long since I wrote these down a week ago. Lend me your ear.
Can we reverse engineer that one? I just watched...
I watched it like an hour or two ago, and I didn't watch it as closely as I should have. That'll come in play
Oh, good, because I thought I didn't like it so much that I only watched it once. So
I tuned out. Lend me your ear.
Hear ye, hear. I don't know.
Is there anything about hearing? Ear. I'm out. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm out. I don't know if you'll know this song by Cascada, but it's Evacuate the Dance Floor.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, look it up after this.
All right. Okay, here's one. Pants off, dance off.
How about House of Wax Dance Floors?
Jeez, man. All right, I guess
that
this
was
is gonna
more of yours. You kind of that's one you would pull off. It's not quite the question ones.
Don't test me.
Yeah.
All right, this is gonna have to be my last one because I don't think. Let me just try for 1 second to see if I can read that one. Oh, okay, I got it. Okay. You can dance if you want to.
You can leave yourself. Oh,
yeah, that's my fourth.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, here's my last one. Naked and Unafraid.
I'm certain I've done something like that before, but yeah, that's good.
You're certain that I copy everything, but
yeah, I mean,
you can't prove it. You never have references that can prove it. So
I mean, I'd have to go back and listen to all of our episodes, which I just can't.
Well, then I'm just going to assume you're lying.
My last one is very high concept, and I want you to keep in mind what Tim is doing, what Tim does to the floor. Okay.
Okay.
So this is high concept. It is my party. Buffering.
Oh man, that's art if I've ever heard it.
I felt pretty good about that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, it just shows you're on a different level than me because I would have not been able to pick that up.
If you copy that one, I will remember. It'll pound your face. Back to the threats. We got to get into it, I guess.
Plot synopsis.
Oh Lord.
Tim puts a dance floor in the basement for Randy's birthday party, but he overwaxes it, causing Randy's friend Michelle to sprain her ankle. Randy is embarrassed that Tim is now sending his friends to the hospital.
Okay. His friend. Okay. I got to give us both credit for avoiding the wax on, wax off alternative title.
It was there for the taking.
It was, yeah, it definitely was. So kudos to us.
And I should say Skagary 66 with that.
You did, and I'm happy to hear it again.
Great, I'm glad.
Okay, great.
I'm glad. Episode walkthrough time. As I said, I only watched it once because
As far as I'm concerned, let's sprint through.
Okay, cool. Open on tool time. It is the end of floor finishing week. There's some finish jokes which will really come into play in scene 3 when we visit the Finnish sauna.
Have we not heard these jokes before, or is that like I swear?
I do remember the Finnish sauna stuff, but I don't think he acted it out. And,
okay, all right.
So we're gonna get that acted out later.
There's a low angle shot here, and I haven't talked about film technique in a while.
It's time to do it.
I don't remember the logistics of it now, but there is a low angle shot, which I thought was cool at the time, and I put a couple exclamation points afterwards, so it must have been good.
That's how you indicate how you like things. So
yeah, definitely.
There, a lot of Finnish jokes, a lot of wax and like earwax jokes, buffing your legs, all that kind of stuff. It's just what we've come to expect from an opening tool time scene at this point. Mm-hmm. Tim has a special buffer and Heidi and Stumpy bring it out. Have we seen Stumpy before?
No, but Stumpy's getting some applause.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe he's someone who's like on the show behind the scenes who did something great. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Hard to tell. It's a giant buffer that Tim has gotten from Bob's Big and Tall Appliance Shop. And Tim demos it. It kind of goes out of control, but not too out of control.
Well, they like speed up the film so it looks like he's going faster. It's almost as if Tim is being fast forwarded himself, and it kind of speeds around. But yeah, you're right. No, nothing cataclysmic by any means.
I mean, it just kind of goes off the floor and no one's hurt or nothing explodes. And if you ask me, that's a good day at tool time.
Yeah, but it's an awkward ending because it just kind of it gets out of control and then it stops, and then he's just like, "Yep," and then it's the open. So I thought this was. I wrote down probably the worst open in a while.
It's bad.
In terms of, it's pretty bad. There's not a lot to take away from this.
Yeah, it's really just setting up the waxing later and setting up the finished stuff later, and that's it.
That's all. Yeah, all right. So with that in mind, Jordan, let's go home.
Please.
Randy's got that flow. His hair continues to get longer, and it's flowing.
His clothes continue to be giant.
Yeah. I mean, hair and clothes are both just... They're growing in size, and the boy is not. He's not getting any taller, which has got to be bothering him behind the scenes. Jill is making Alfredo sauce. This was a weird kind of thing. So like she says like, "Hey, Randy, you want to taste my Alfredo?" And he's like, "No, we've seen this before. And basically, no, your food sucks." And she's like, "Fine, I'll taste it myself." She tastes it, and then she even thinks it's bad. So like, I don't know what to make of this. Is she just a bad cook? Perhaps so.
Yeah, that's what we've come to expect from now. I mean,
you're speechless.
Usually you just buy an Alfredo sauce. I feel like if you're struggling so much, why would you continue to try to make your own?
If you're not good at making Alfredo, that's one thing there's a lot of substitutes for. Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem. Randy tries to make a deal too. He says like, I'll try it now if I don't have to eat it for dinner. So yeah, it's bad. Tim comes home. He was at a snowmobile rental shop. He thinks it would be a great idea for Randy's birthday if they had a snowmobile party.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not.
I don't really understand the logistics of that.
Nothing I've ever heard of.
We just didn't have cool birthday parties, I guess.
Tell you what, I guess not.
Randy's also not in on this idea. He's not really wanting to do that. But you know what he wants to do?
Well, he wants his first boy-girl party.
His first boy-girl party. Jill talks about her first boy-girl party. They played telephone and charades. I don't know. Sounds okay, I guess. It
depends on how old you are.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 18, you're playing telephone and charades.
If you're like 8 or 9, that could pass. Could pass an afternoon, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what they do now at boy-girl parties, but
shit, probably live Instagram story each other from across the room. Freaking kids.
Oh, man.
Text each other from within the same room.
Generation Z.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Well, is this where Jill gets out her old records?
No.
Okay, well, that is it. I feel like we're missing something, but I guess
no. I think it ends much like the last scene where it's just like, all right, end of scene. I guess there's going to be a boy-girl party.
Cool. Well, then I'll talk about the next scene, which is
fantastic.
Just really weird. I don't know.
It's naked and unafraid, that's for sure.
So Tim walks outside, and essentially, Wilson is in, I guess, a tent is the best way to describe it. Somehow, and he's singing, right?
Sure.
He's singing as well. Tim infers, or just sort of, I guess, looks over and notices that
you can kind of see through this little portable sauna, I guess. I don't know. You
did text me and say that you could see his balls, right?
Yeah, and you were pretty excited. You went back and watched it again.
I was like, can you screenshot that? No. So stupid. He's nude, and he's singing, and he's naked. And
no, he has his hat on. He's not naked.
Okay, he has his hat on. It's weird. Tim isn't comfortable with it. Wilson is a little too comfortable with it. He's doing a hot sauna. I wrote that was a good way to end up on some sort of a list. That was really my big takeaway for Wilson, as if it's not already on there. Tim, talks about how he's worried about the birthday party, but mostly he's just worried about being bored at his own children's birthday party. He wants to have something to do himself.
Yeah, this is, I don't know. This is almost like he puts himself at the center of everything, and Wilson kind of says, try something different, do something unique and unexpected. Yeah,
you'll be more fulfilled if you do something unexpected. And then Wilson bends over, and Tim says, "That's a weird place for a tattoo." So, I don't know what this guy was doing on Blue's Clues, but these are not high-level jokes by any means. It's sub-middle school humor, I would say.
There's a reason Thad didn't come back, I think.
Mumford and Son. Next scene, I guess.
Yeah, it's very rare that we have a Wilson scene and we're just not going to play a clip.
So. Well, we didn't even play a clip.
It's too late now. We've moved on.
We are rusty bridges here. I think we did it justice. We can, if we want, we can play a clip later. Maybe this is a no-clip show.
Perhaps. I think so.
It's much like it's Randy's party, and he'll cry
It's our podcast?
This is our podcast, and we will play clips if we want to.
That's right. So Tim is downstairs with Mark in this next scene, and he is buffing the dance floor. This is the surprise, unexpected, unique thing he's going to do. He's going to put a dance floor in the basement, I guess. I don't know.
By the way, not that clever. I don't know. He really, gives himself a lot of credit throughout the episode. It's fine. That's not a bad idea, but it's not, not $1 million idea. You're not going to end up on Shark Tank with this dance floor thing, you know?
And so he's talking about buffing the dance floor with Mark. He's done it.
Buffing the vampire slayer?
There was a missed opportunity right there.
Yeah.
He did this 16 times. Seems like too many. But Tim is also trying to teach Mark how to buff the floor because you might need it 17 times. As he does so, Tim loses his pants, and this is going to be a problem for the next scene.
And you also sent me a screenshot of this as well.
we were very confused at the turn that it was taking for Thad in this episode. Lots of no pants.
Yeah, it's weird. Pants off, dance off. Yes.
Yeah.
Randy is nervous about the party. They're upstairs now, I believe.
Yeah, back upstairs, Brad and Randy. Randy's kind of jazzed up though. He's got some new shoes on.
He's got some new shoes. He got a big old vest on. Looking like some bro Han Solo. Star Wars references because I'm watching the movies now, you know. He's nervous about the party. Brad gives really the only good advice I think he's ever given, and it's sort of sincere. He's like, you know, Michelle will have fun. It won't be a big deal, but just make sure mom and dad aren't around the whole time. Which, if you're 13 or 14, you're having a party, yeah, sound advice, I would say.
Yeah, and I guess we didn't say, but the reason Randy wants to have a boy-girl party is he likes this girl, Michelle, and she's going to be coming. So, but yeah, like you said, have fun, make sure the parents aren't around and being weird. And this, you wanted to skip ahead to this, but Jill then comes up with her box of old 45s. And her record player.
She mentions two songs that I really, really like, which is why it kind of stuck out to me. She mentions Hurdy-Gurdy Man by Donovan, which is a fantastic song.
Would you like to sing them right now?
No. I mean, let's win the hurt. What I'll say about Hurdy-Gurdy Man is it is used prominently in the film Zodiac, which many people have seen. It's a really good song. To Sir With Love by Lulu is another great song. But I will not sing either one. It's mostly a time thing, Jordan. We just, going along.
Is that also like To Serve Man? Is that similar?
It's nothing like the Twilight Zone episode. It's a cookbook. It's a birthday party.
I tell my daughter some bedtime stories, and I've turned into a couple of Twilight Zone episodes because they're just stuck in my head, and she doesn't know what I'm saying. So
yeah, you tell her. Yeah, you want to get her in on those moralistic twists at a young age so she knows what, the difference between right and wrong.
So far she's heard, what's the one where the guy breaks his glasses?
Man, I love Twilight Zone. Why am I blanking? It is called Time Enough at Last.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Finally has time
She really enjoyed that one.
What a twist. You know what? All that guy wanted to do was read and, not have people around, and then he has the opportunity, and he breaks his glasses, Jordan. That's why I don't wear glasses.
That's exactly why.
And because I don't need to.
You've told me time and time again that is why I do not wear glasses.
That's why I won't even go to my vision's fine, but that's also why I won't wear glasses.
Sorry, I didn't mean to break up the flow that we had, but man, when you have kids, it just takes over your life.
I don't know, but why don't you keep telling me about it?
All right, so the doorbell rings.
Like the Bill Simmons parent corner that everybody hates on his podcast.
We're gonna do a whole episode of that.
Great.
All right, so doorbell rings. It's the first guest. It happens to be Michelle and her dad, Bert Sanford.
I got bios on both. I don't know when you want me to do that, but
now's as good a time as any.
Yeah, might as well. I broke up the structure. So, Bert Sanford, played by Mark L. Taylor. Real familiar guy, wouldn't you say?
No.
Okay, well, I thought he was real familiar. All right. Credits include Homeward Bound, Arachnophobia, very scary spider movie, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Inner Space. Lately, he'd be working still. He was in an episode of Feud, How to Get Away with Murder, which is a show people like, Franklin Bash.
Which is a show people like.
And I don't like it, but Boston Legal, one of my favorites. I feel like this guy was in a Disney show or something. Just give me a minute here. No, not finding it, but
But maybe it's a premonition. Maybe he will be on a Disney show.
He's going to be in another episode of Home Improvement. So there's that. He was in the Family Matters. He was in the Family Matters episode Scammed. He played Frank. Do you remember that one?
I think he was the scammer.
Yeah, Frank the scammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about this guy at the end. But
what about Michelle? Let's talk about her.
Michelle is played by Kimberly Cullum. She has 19 credits to her name. Hasn't been anything since 1998's Nothing Sacred, in which she played young Maureen in the episode A Nun's Story. She was also in Quantum Leap, Maverick, The Amazing Spider-Man. She was Miscellaneous Crew.
Maverick, the movie with Mel Gibson?
Yeah, you know it?
I love that movie.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I know you like Mel.
It's got James Garner. It's got Jodie Foster. It's like the poker movie before poker movies were popular.
It looks good. Yeah, I mean, Mel.
Just tune in.
All right, I'll check it out.
There was an old TV show where James Garner played the titular character Maverick, and that's why he was in the film. And it was a real wink and nod to that show. I tell you what.
I wasn't he? Is he Rockford Files? Is that the same guy?
That same guy.
Oh, wow, James Garner. You know what I remember him from?
8 Simple Rules
for dating my teenage daughter. Yep, there it is, full circle. Yeah, Kimberly. I don't think she's acting anymore. We'll talk about her at the end as well.
All right, so
that's it for bios. Back to the episode.
Yeah, Michelle is embarrassed by her dad. Her dad is very suspicious of this party.
He's a weirdo. He comes in
so strange.
He comes in like he's like, I don't know, like he's some kind of like a health inspector or something. Like
either that or like a private investigator. He's like kind of like Columbo. He knows something's up.
Yeah. He's like, I mean, Columbo's cool, you know.
Well, yeah, he's like the evil Columbo.
He doesn't do the. Let me ask you one more question.
Well, yeah, that's because he's evil.
Oh, sure. So yeah, no more questions in that case. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy is weird. He's very skeptical. Seems like it's almost as if he's never even considered having his daughter go to a party or someone else's house because, like, yeah, he's just, like, really on the defense. It's quite strange.
You know, and then he, later, if he's so worried about it, but then he just kind of, like, goes and buys a car and keeps himself busy during the time. He's not really available to her if anything comes up, so.
Out of sight, out of mind, the old adage.
Yep. So, yeah, her dad, very suspicious, very strange. Jill is answering the door. Tim is not there yet, and is trying to reassure him that, like, we've got this under control, it's going to be fun. And then Tim comes up the stairs with poor timing. If you remember, about 20 minutes ago, we talked about how he lost his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he still doesn't have them. And he's come up the stairs. He's trying to hide because he sees Bert here, and Bert recognizes him. And
as one is wont to do in this universe.
Of course. Yeah. And Tim is excited as they start talking about the show. I guess Bert's a fan. And he comes out on accident, and he still doesn't have pants on. And this is not going to look good to Bert.
No, nor did it look good to Bert's daughter, who is a wee child. Yeah, people just aren't wearing pants in this episode. I don't know. It's weird.
It's just it's my party. We'll wear pants if we want to.
It's naked and unafraid is probably the most apt title because I mean any chance anybody gets to take their pants off, they're doing it in this one, and I don't love it. Yeah, I don't love it.
It's not great. And Tim tries to play it off a little bit, and he talks about why he switched to boxers, and then he goes upstairs and puts on some pants. Yep,
good stuff. All right, we cut to the basement. There's some
it's party time.
Generic rock and roll is playing. It's the same thing they've done before. It's just like there's no words, just like kind of head thrashing music.
There's about 8 people at this party.
It's a small attendance. This is a home improvement party, so no one really talks to Randy, and no one seems to know each other. You know, like Randy is just like kind of on his own at his own birthday party, like not interested in talking to any of his friends. Randy, he's nervous. He's thinking about dancing. He wants to approach. I keep wanting to call her Beth, but her name's Michelle. He goes up to her and she's like, "Are you having a good time?" And she's like, "No." Just like, come on.
Can we comment on his little dancing as he goes to Michelle?
Yeah, go ahead.
It was a very strange, like, little shuffle that he was doing as he tries to go over there. I don't know why he felt compelled. No one else was dancing at the time. Yeah. But he decides he wants to ask her to dance, so he's going to show off some moves earlier. And if that's what he was trying to do, I don't think it's going to work.
Crisis averted, maybe, with what happens?
It's certainly not when Stardom happened.
I think he might have... I don't know about the buffering. I think he might have just pushed her so you didn't have to dance with her. But yeah, it is when she's like, he's like, "Are you having a good time?" No. I was like, okay, that's really nice. Maybe it's true to 12-year-old, 13-year-old
You
girl.
know, the good news, though, she's not having a good time, but she does like issues.
She does like issues. You take the good, you take the bad. Randy starts saying weird... Oh, okay. Lend me your ear. He compliments her ear.
Ah, yes, it all comes for full circle.
Yeah, so he starts saying weird stuff about her ears and how he likes them.
They match her nose. Isn't that great?
It's like fetish stuff. I don't know. It's weird.
Fad, at it again.
that is perhaps a pervert. Somehow he talks her into... wait, no. We then cut to Sherman and Tim.
Well, Tim comes down and smacks his head.
Yeah.
And then he continues. Well, first, I want to say before we get to what he's doing, there's kind of a return of the Lions shirt that we haven't seen in such a long time, but it's now been transformed into a sweatshirt. So, but he used to wear that every episode, if you recall.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim sees no one dancing on the dance floor, and so he goes over there. He wants to get this party started. He works so hard on waxing it, so we got to get people out on there. And like you said, apparently he knows Sherman, and they they kind of have a relationship in place.
Sherman and Tim are kind of like riffing off each other, and eventually Sherman burns Tim. But it is weird to give this guy a name. I don't know. It's I had a bio on Sherman, but I don't know. It's kind of a bummer, so I'm just gonna skip it. But it's interesting. I don't know if Sherman was gonna come back at some point, but I wish he would have because he had presence.
Yeah, I mean, he burns him and walks away, and I don't know. It's worth watching him.
Do you see? Are Randy or not Randy? Are Brad or Mark at this party?
Brad came down with Randy down the stairs. He kind of pushes Randy to go talk to Michelle.
I mean, it's a good idea to not have Mark there.
My guess is Mark is playing chess upstairs.
Yeah, for sure. So Sherman burns Tim. Tim starts dancing. Randy gets embarrassed. Whatever. Eventually, Randy is able to convince Michelle to dance. They walk out on the dance floor, and she very unconvincingly falls. This will be a boomerang posted to our Twitter on Wednesday because it's really comical.
Boy, and it's quite the fall because it's devastating. She's gonna have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, and when she falls, it doesn't really look like something that's going to lead to a hospital visit necessarily, but you audience, you be the judge of that.
Well, they try everything, in the next scene, Jill goes up. She's upstairs singing.
I really don't like this scene. It's quite gross.
Well, good. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tim, Randy, and Brad bring up Michelle. I guess they're kind of carrying her. There's no ice. They need to elevate this thing. It's the old Rice thing, rest, ice, compression, elevation, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're going to do that, but all the ice is in the punch bowl. So they put her foot in the punch bowl. And Tim goes to call her parents, but no one is home. I think
they put her there's punch in the punch bowl, and they put her foot in there.
Yeah, it's
really,
great.
Really gross.
Well, it's going to be worse later.
Yeah, I know. I did
don't
not
spoil
like
it though.
I will not. The punch was spoiled, but I won't spoil the bit. Keep going.
Yeah, so Bert is out buying a car. I don't remember what they said Bert's wife was doing, but she's not available.
I don't know that she's in the picture, and you know what? Based on what I'm getting from Bert, I'm not surprised. He seems like a real bummer.
Yeah, but maybe it's his weekend. Maybe it's his weekend
every
or something.
Time he walks into a party, he probably doesn't have a lot of friends.
Well, I mean, as long as they talk cars, everything's simpatico.
Amen. Hospital set. Same one we've seen before. Marge is back.
She's up to her old tricks.
We saw her before,
sure.
Correct?
Yeah. She knows Tim well. Apparently Jill called ahead. I don't know that happens at hospitals.
There's some tremendous logic issues in this scene.
I would say so.
Randy is mad because it's like, man, it's so full in here. It's like, yeah, I mean, ER is always. It's always going to be full, kid. So I'm just trying to find out if this is her last episode, first episode.
Marge, are you talking about?
Yeah, where we're at with Marge.
This is definitely her second episode.
She's in Step by Step. You keep talking.
Step by Step. Be careful.
She's in 4 episodes. This is 2 of 4.
Okay.
She's gonna be in it until 1999. That's crazy. Okay, back to it. Yeah. So Tim goes up and talks to Marge. He wants to jump the line, which seems really unethical, especially considering there are people that are actually hurt. This girl sprained an ankle, which is painful for her, but I don't know. They're sitting next to a guy that's in real tough shape.
Yeah, and Tim just makes fun of him the whole time. It's also a real strange... I mean, I've been to an ER a couple of times.
Brag.
Humble brag. And I've never really even thought it was an option that you could go talk to a doctor in an examination room and try to get bumped to the head of the line.
Well, Tim knows this guy because he wrote his thesis on like head injuries that was inspired by Tim. And Tim is like, I'm going to go talk to him. And this receptionist is like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, sure, give it a shot.
Go ahead and walk back into the hospital unattended. I'll tell you exactly where he is. Well, Tim does it, and
and it works.
It works. Yeah, they jump up in the line. Meanwhile, Michelle and Randy continue to bond. I don't really remember what happens.
Oh, I'll tell you because I wrote it down.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Yeah. So Michelle is kind of bummed. She says, "I'll never be able to go to a party again because Bert is gonna obviously freak out over this."
Yeah, but like it's not her fault. Like she slipped. I don't.
You tell Bert what happened, okay?
Hey, you're right. My fault. Go ahead.
And Randy also feels similar because he'll never be invited once word gets out how this happened. So neither of them are going to be at parties together. Maybe they can hang out together. And Michelle says, "I'd like to hang out with you." And that's when Tim comes back and got them in somehow. And then Michelle goes back. Tim and Randy are now chatting about how this was an interesting birthday. Tim thinks he can salvage this somehow. I was wondering how he would salvage this. What he does isn't really what I would have expected, but I mean, I don't think he does anything really. But anyways, Bob, the custodian, comes by because we gotta get down to brass tacks on this waxing. Like, this custodian, he knows. He waxes the floors all the time. Yeah. Is it okay to put 16 coats of wax on the floor? I guess Tim's maybe wondering for liability purposes. And Bob, the custodian, says, if you do more than one, you're kind of an idiot. So
yeah, this guy didn't seem like an actor. I don't know.
I was trying to look up. He's wearing like a hat and a
maybe I wonder if he's somebody's brother or something. I don't know.
Maybe he's Stumpy.
I thought it was... See, I wrote down Stuffy as that guy's name.
Well, we're not going to watch it again and figure it out. So.
All right. Jordan, we haven't played a clip on this one. Should we play a clip for the final scene? I don't know. What do you think? Might be nice to not have to go into as much detail.
I guess, fine.
Jordan, let's play a clip. I think it's good for people to get the idea of... what's the father's name?
Bert Sanford and Sons.
Yeah, it's
and
good.
Mumford and Sons.
There's some really good dialogue about Cherry, so let's go ahead and play a clip here.
Oh, Mr. Sanford, you're early.
Well, after seeing your husband in his underwear and your neighbor wandering around naked, I was a little concerned. But seems like everything's under control here.
Right here. Yeah, everything's really under control. You want some cake?
No, but I will take some punch if you don't mind. It's really very different. Make it yourself?
Michelle helped.
Oh. It tastes like she had a hand in it.
Close.
Where is Michelle?
Michelle.
My daughter?
Well, the truth is she's had a little accident.
Accident?
No, really, she's okay. She's going to be back from the emergency room.
Emergency room?
See, look, there she is. She's fine.
Hi. Sweetheart, are you all right?
I'm fine, Daddy. It's just a sprain.
Yeah, the doctor said it's a mild sprain. She should be okay in a couple of days.
How'd this happen?
It's the same old story, you know. Guy builds dance floor for son. Guy overwaxes. Girl slips and hurts herself. Guy feels terrible. Girl's father forgives guy.
Afraid not.
I'm sorry, that's how the story goes.
Look, Mr. Sanford, it was just an accident.
Like on Tool Time, the show you like? Accidents?
I like when the accidents happen to you, not to my daughter.
Real smooth, Dad.
I should have followed my instincts. I shouldn't let you stay for the party.
Dad, I'm fine.
I should have taken you car shopping with me.
What kind of cars you end up with? Gremlin, an AMC General, maybe a Hornet?
No, for your information, I collect muscle cars.
You?
Yeah. What I'm really looking for is a 70 GTO.
Yeah. With a big block?
Oh, of course with a big block. And I'd love to find a convertible.
Oh, no. You're a car guy?
Oh, yeah. I like to take old pieces of junk and restore them to Cherry.
Honey, I think I'm in love.
I won't stand in your way.
I got a 46 Ford convertible I'm trying to retrofit into a hot rod.
You got a 46 Ford convertible?
I do. You want to see it?
I do.
I now pronounce you man and car guy.
You want a classic goat? Go with a 69 Judge. Hard to find, but a great investment.
Oh, yeah.
Well, would you like to have some cake?
Yeah.
Randy, I am so sorry that your birthday worked out this way. You know, if you want, your father and I can make it up to you by taking you and a bunch of your friends to some kind of concert or something next weekend.
Why, is Lulu doing a world tour?
All right, so Bert stopped by early. He wanted to get
clip.
Yeah, really
Great
good clip.
Great clip.
Good call by you. I don't think we could have really described it properly. So
yeah, great.
Bert comes by early because he's weird and he wants to get Michelle. He goes for the punch. He's not much for the cake, but
this is what I really didn't like.
Mm-hmm. And he's not much for the cake when Jill offers it. Instead, he goes for the punch, and he drinks it, and he kind of likes it. He says,
it's the foot punch that she stuck her foot in. Yeah.
And there's some jokes about how, like, Michelle had a hand in it, and not really a hand, but a foot in it, This
is such a bad episode, man.
It's pretty rough.
Bad. Yeah.
Jill spills the beans as they arrive back from the ER. So I guess that's good, because Mark didn't spill the beans this time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It would have been very funny if Mark came down the stairs, like, said something, like, ruined everything and then promptly ran upstairs.
That would have been the only thing that could have saved this episode.
Yeah, I know.
But too bad. Instead, Mr. Sanford finds out from Jill he is ticked off, but not for long, because we find out that Mr. Sanford went, when he got to the car dealership, Tim wants to know what kind of car he got, and it turns out he collects muscle cars. He's kind of a car guy.
This dialogue, I'm actually glad we played this clip, because this is, like, among the worst parts, because this guy, this actor, and he's probably a fine actor, but he's, like, so petulant. He's like, actually, I like to buy muscle cars, and it's just, like, it's almost like kind of a sassy teen the way he sort of retorts at Tim.
Bert the sassy teen?
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. I am glad that we got to play this clip. You continue on, Jordan. You're doing a good job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So Tim starts to bond as they talk cars. They talk about the hot rod in the garage. They go to the garage. Kind of all is well, I guess, we're to assume. And, Randy and Michelle, I guess this is how Tim was going to salvage it. He got them together, home, alone.
Yeah, he definitely planned on this happening, this coincidence.
And he said, let them eat cake.
Bert likes to restore cars to Cherry. This guy talking cars is like me talking cars. It just rang very, very false.
It's not
I
great.
wish I could say roll credits fade to black, but we get, a while ago we got the montage with the Get a Job song, and I thought that was inexplicable, but this is every bit as, I don't know. I didn't even, by the end of the show, I didn't even know what I was watching.
It doesn't seem like Home Improvement that we know and love.
No. So, basement, Tim goes downstairs, the dance floor is still there, he turns on the boombox, it's still The Rock, but then the camera, it's an overhead shot, and then Tim just starts breakdancing. It's not really Tim, but it's a guy that looks like Tim breakdancing to this rock, and it goes on a really long time, and it's just, it's so strange. I can't even imagine. He does it, and then he
so
stands
they're in
up,
a
and that's
writer's
it.
meeting, and they talk about this scene. Like, how is he pitching this, and how does it get agreed to?
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't even look like Tim. It's like a overhead. The music doesn't really sync up with it. It's just so stupid.
And Tim pulls a muscle at the end.
Yeah, he pulls a muscle, and it's a fitting end to this episode.
Except for, that werewolf we talked about earlier?
Yeah, where's that at?
So this is the end of the episode, but there are some outtakes, or
Okay,
I guess
I didn't
this is
watch them.
almost like a deleted scene, like they didn't include, which I guess is good. They're looking at the wax floors. Al looks into the wax floors, and instead of seeing himself, he sees himself as a werewolf reflected in the waxed floor, making us wonder what the hell is going on.
Really?
Yes.
What?
There's no explanation.
What would that have meant? Like,
I tried to look up if there was like a werewolf wax brand or something like that. Like, I just have no idea.
there anything with Finland? I mean, I don't know. I'm honestly surprised that wasn't in here because, like, with the tone of this episode,
fit, I guess.
It would have fit. Oh my gosh, a werewolf! It's so crazy. Now I kind of feel like I need to watch it, but I don't know if I will. Yeah. Roll credits, fade to black. It's My Party. Jordan Lowe's.
The episode. Yeah, this is one of, like, the most tonally confusing episodes that we've had in a really long time. Doesn't seem to fit in with the series. Obviously a different writer. I'm glad he only did one episode because this is wild. And I don't know that there's anything that's good about this episode. What do you think? What do you think?
I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, it's terrible. I'm trying to, like, I want to try to think of where in the pantheon of really bad Home Improvement episodes it is.
I feel like there's bad episodes where Tim's annoying. He's not really annoying in this one. It's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's just like, it's really, really strange. And, I mean, from the breakdancing to the foot punch to the Wilson being nude to Tim's pants coming off, it's just really, really strange, and none of it's funny. I don't think I laughed at all. I'm trying. I just want to. It would be good to come up with a high.
I'm scrolling through my notes. I guess
Sherman,
I like
Sherman.
Oh yeah,
obviously.
Sherman.
Yeah.
Sherman.
Hey, Sherman, Hercules.
I mean, I guess I like Marge. She's, I like her banter with Tim, but I don't really understand why she's letting him in.
No,
to the back of the hospital.
This is a really bad episode. Tony doesn't make sense. The jokes are bad. It's gross. It's stupid. I don't understand Tim's angle with wanting to have fun at the boys' birthday parties. Jill is just, like, kind of an idiot. She's just, like, singing old songs to herself, not liking her own Alfredo. I mean, I honestly think this is one of the worst episodes we've covered, just because it's so strange. It's not, I mean, I'll give it one thing. It's not boring, because it's so weird, but it's zany. It's really, really bad. It's one of the worst episodes we've covered, and I mean,
it's
our 2-year anniversary, but
it's the bad. Perfect happy 2-year anniversary.
This is a Cotton episode, if ever there was one. So yeah, man, that's It's My Party.
Oh, good gracious! Let's move on. Sean, oh boy, Sean's social media roundup. It's been 2 years. I still can't say it.
Yeah.
If you'd like to reach out to us, go to thehomeimpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at Home Impodcast, Facebook.com/Home Impodcast. If you'd like to support the show, get access to behind the scenes and outtakes and all that fun stuff that we do on Patreon, go to patreon.com/Home Impodcast. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. Adam, we haven't talked for a while. You've posted some stuff on Twitter. Do you have any results or things to share?
I mean, to find results, I have to go back a long way, so I'm not going to do that. But I'll just provide some quick updates. Last week, the Brett White episode dropped, and we posted some of his articles as well as mentions of his podcast, Must Have Seen TV, so you can find information on that there. Additionally, I tweeted this or retweeted this. Laugh TV, which is available via Antenna, is apparently playing Home Improvement now. I get that. Do you get that?
I do.
Game changer. So that's cool. Someone at Justin K. Comer shared some, I don't really know how to describe it. I would say Home Improvement experimental music.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, and we shared that. Did I like it? I don't even know, but it was nice of him to reach out. And then, the last thing I'll say is, I don't know, do you know what HQ Trivia is, Jordan?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I was playing that last night. They did like a random 11 o'clock game, and the 8th question was like, which TV star is also named after a tool? And it was Tim Allen, Allen Wrench. I ended up embarrassingly getting it wrong, but that
doesn't...
always... Go ahead.
That's not a fake name, though. Tim Taylor is his fictional name.
I think it must have been they were giving real names. Like what 90s sitcom star was also named after a tool. I don't remember. I got it. Yeah, it fooled me, so I got it wrong. But I posted a photo of that because that was, funny.
That's a lot of egg on your face.
I was so embarrassed. Everybody in the chat, all million, like 1.5 million people were like ragging on me because they all know the podcast. They were like,
who doesn't at this point, right?
It was embarrassing, but. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter, doing big things. We got 400 followers, so that was pretty exciting. And yeah, just, spread the word, if you will.
Please, leave us a review if you'd like. I think we're at 24 right now, so let's get to 25.
Reviews?
I think we had 24 last time, so.
Okay, cool.
That great review that had some comments on a specific episode that didn't make sense.
Jeez. Don't even. I mean, you know where I stand on that. I don't want to fly off the handle again on air.
I know how to rile up your feathers, so
I was watching Stern on the David Letterman Netflix show, and it's a lot of the FCC. They tried to censor him a lot, and I don't want to go down that path as well. So don't get my pot stirred.
Let's
Jordan,
stir the pot with a question of the week.
Yeah, I don't even know whose turn is it.
It's mine.
Oh, thankfully. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is a hard episode to pull some stuff out of. Perhaps I've asked this before. It seems like I'm reusing episode titles, same jokes, all those sorts of things that I've done before, so you'll have to let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about some of your favorite birthday parties when you were younger. Did you have boy-girl parties? Did you do anything...
I definitely didn't have boy-girl parties.
I don't think I did either.
I mean, people presumably have those, but... I never had one, nor was I invited to one. So,
well, the second part.
Yeah. I mean, I will quickly go.
I mean, I can start. I wrote some stuff.
Yeah,
down.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I think every kid does like the McDonald's birthday party thing. Maybe you didn't. I don't know.
Maybe when I went to Taco Bell.
Ooh, Taco Bell. All right, so you were kind of just throwing a little wrench into that the American dream type of thing, and that's fine. I do remember a few times it's basketball season when it's my birthday, so we'll go to Pistons games, something like that. And then as of late, my wife surprised me with going to one of my favorite local food joints, and then another night during that weekend we went to like a dinner show at Disney where they did like a luau and we saw the Fantastic Beasts movie, so that was a good one.
Did you figure out where to find them, or no?
I'm waiting for the second movie to find them.
That's gonna answer that question. This is just Fantastic Beasts. Where are they? And the next one will answer it.
Where to find them? Well, the third one's where to find them, and the second one is where to find them. The third one is we're going to find them. So.
And the fourth one is Where's Waldo?
I think
we have to keep going.
Let's move on.
Don't dignify that. Okay, Jordan. Birthday parties. Had a lot of sleepovers when I was young.
You never invited me to your birthday parties.
I am still only lukewarm on you. No, I mean, I don't know. Specifics depended on the year. I remember when I was real young, Discovery Zone being a big thing.
The Men in Black laser tag.
Yeah, that was awesome. Seeing movies, but sleepovers, good breakfasts. I had a trampoline. We did a lot of jumping on that with a lot of...
Wait a minute, you had a trampoline?
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
I don't remember that.
Well, when I was 18, I didn't use it anymore, so...
We knew each other before then.
Well, I didn't use it.
You were always holding out on me. You didn't want me to jump with you.
Yeah, well, it's not saying... You're only really supposed to have one person out at a time if you want to follow the rules. So, as I've gotten older, it depends on the... it varies depending on the year. Recently, I bring this up because last week I cashed in on a birthday present that I got from Kirsten, and that was I saw a live taping of How Did This Get Made, which is one of my favorite podcasts with Paul Scheer, Jason Mantzoukas, and June Dan Raphael in Chicago, and they covered striptease, and that was a lot of fun. That was probably the first podcast I ever started listening to 6-7 years ago, so it's fun to finally cash in on that last week.
They inspired you to be where you are today.
Mm-hmm, yeah, I learned everything I know from them, for better or worse. Jordan, for better or worse, what are we covering next week?
We're going to be covering A House Divided.
Okay, all right. Let me just click on that. Let me get an idea of what might be happening in that one. Okay, a little Benny action.
But Benny and the Jets?
Yeah, that'll be good. Jordan, it's been a pleasure talking to you after so much time away, and hopefully we can get into a routine here of doing these again.
I hope so. We're going to try. I mean, this might just be the end of the podcast.
You're non-committal. Hey, man, there's a lot of people lined up that would love to host this show with me, so just give me a heads up.
They're not contacting us, that's for sure.
Listeners, thank you for listening. Jordan, thank you for joining me. I guess I should say take care.
Take care, everybody.